Here's a brief but annoying message to let you know that you could have first heard this episode 9 months ago if you were a subscriber to our Iron Filing Society Patreon offering.
For the price of a pint and a St Clement's each month, you can get up to 4 episodes a week, 9 months before the rest of the world gets them. Early access to regular episodes, lots of other marvellous benefits, and there's absolutely no adverts or brief but annoying messages like this that will get right on your ticks.
Find out more and subscribe now at tftimemachine.com/ironfilings.
Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go, this is it!
This is Top Flight Time Machine. I am Andy Hot Body Dawson.
I'm Sam Nifty Delaney, so what?
Welcome along. It's the Rod Hull Odyssey. We're looking at Rod's 1983. This is your life appearance. Weirdly, it's almost completely bereft of emu, other than a short burst of intense emu activity at the beginning of the episode.
Yeah, I mean, it's like covered. You don't get much emu, but the emu you get is of the very highest quality.
It's pure grade emu, isn't it?
I mean, the simplest and quickest way of explaining it is it's emu in physical combat with Keith Chegwin in a BBC reception area. I mean, I'll leave the details for you to discover, but that should be enough.
Yeah, have a look. It's on the YouTube. Just have a look. Rod Hull, This Is Your Life. It's very simple to find. You just use the search box at the top of the page. I'm sure you know how to do that. Where were we? Yeah, we got distracted again. We haven't even got to the bit, I don't think, where they walk into the theatre. The premise of this thing was that they were doing a thing about the Children's Royal Variety Show, and some kids that had been there the year before were coming back or something to do a documentary or a piece of television to talk about it. And
I don't know. I mean, to be honest, in those days, there was always a big bunch of kids on any TV show. There was always like a bunch of fucking kids in duffel coats and woolly hats just all standing about. You never really knew why. Didn't really matter.
Yeah. And they'd be shrieking for some reason. You know, it was annoying. But you'd watch it as a kid and think, oh, why am I not on telly? Why's them kids on telly?
I would be on telly. They look like a right bunch of arseholes. They should have got me and my mates on there.
Yeah, well, you're not on telly because you live in fucking Sunderland. That's fucking why. And they make all these programmes in London.
Yeah.
It's like I was listening to Gary Kemp's Raconteurs recently, where the episode where Martin Kemp is the guest. And they're talking about how they got into acting when they were kids because they went to the famous Anna Sher acting school, which was just across the road from where they lived.
Well, that's not
and
their
Gary
fault,
went there
is
for
it?
6 months.
It's not their fault that they opened a theatre school opposite where they lived. That's just what happened to them.
It's just good luck. Yeah, good fortune and best of luck to them. They've done well out of it.
Yeah.
Gary was going for 6 months. His parents didn't even know about it till he got a part in fucking some film. But,
well, I never went on telly, and I was from London, but I can tell you that my brother-in-law was in the children's TV show Rubber Dub Dub. And when I first was with my good wife, it was such a big family source of immense pride, right?
Right, yeah.
Bear in mind, by the time I started going out with my missus, her younger brother would have been about probably 17, 18 when I was first hanging around there, right? He was in Rubber Dub Dub. I don't know if you remember it, but it was one of those kids shows that was on in the daytime for quite young kids. And the studio, as we've just said, was always just full of fucking little kids just hanging about, right? And being silly. And he was one of them in one episode of Rubber Dub Dub over 10 years before I'd first sort of entered into their family fray. And the level, and I've complained about this to my wife many times, right? I was like, I'm sorry, but the amount that your family discussed your brother's appearance in like 1981 on Rubber Dub Dub is way beyond what seemed appropriate. Yes, of course, if any of us have been on Rubber Dub Dub when we were kids, it's legitimately something of note and it's something to be proud of. But you would have thought that he had been one of these kids who had, like, I don't know, do you remember when Tom fucking, won the Nobel Peace Prize even though he was only 6? It was like that. It's like, they had it on VHS, right? The amount of times that VHS came out. Oh, yeah, you know, should we get the tape out? Should we get the tape out and watch Rubber Dub Dub?
Oh my God.
He didn't do anything, mate. He was just like there. He didn't have a speaking part. He was just hanging around in the studio while the presenters did whatever it was they were doing. So, again, I'm not being bitter and maybe I am being a bit bitter and jealous. I never was on Rubber Dub Dub or anything similar. But he was, and I just think they go on about it too much. And anyway, for the last few years, because he's in his 40s now, right? And to be fair to him, I would say it wasn't so much him as his like mum and siblings who went on about it. I think it got to a stage with him where he was like, you know, like child stars get held back in the rest of their life because they feel like it kind of ruins them early. And I think that for many years, his appearance on Rubber Dub Dub was an albatross for him. Do you know what I mean? Like it set a sort of a certain standard that he felt he was always struggling to live up to for the rest of his life.
Yeah, but they were always looking to maintain that level.
He's in his 40s
it's impossible, isn't it?
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if he's gone through some therapy on the matter. I don't know.
Probably.
But he seems all right with it now. But at the weekend, I was like, you know, sometimes I think to myself, I mean, I'm lucky. I've got nice in-laws, right? I get on with them. I really like them on the whole. I mean, everyone irritates each other once in a while, but, you know. But the other day, I was thinking to myself, God, isn't it nice that I don't have to ever think about or listen about or watch anything to do with my brother-in-law's appearance on Rubber Dub Dub the other day, right? On Saturday, my mother-in-law was round, and I heard that she's always got tech advice. That she always has a technical problem to do with something to do with her computer or one of her digital devices that she will be asking either my wife or I about. And I don't know if you have this in your life, but what older people tend to do is they will tell you a problem they've got with their computer or their phone or their iPad. And then when you try to give them an answer, an explanation, you tell them how to fix it, they become furious with you for suggesting it. I know that. I've tried that. That doesn't work. Oh, that wouldn't work for me. I'm not interested in that. Stop saying that. Anyway, her thing was, I need to know how to get videotape made into digital film that I can show on my phone. And my wife went, why? And I was sitting doing something else, trying to stay out of the conversation, but my ears pricked up. I thought, oh no, she's trying to get video onto her phone and iPad. Why? And she just went, well, obviously I want to get Tom's tape of him on Rubber Dub Dub digitised so I can show it to, she was going round someone's house, like a neighbour, or she'd been invited round for drinks. She couldn't imagine going round to meet new friends without being able to present to them the like maximum 20 seconds that her son was on Rubber Dub Dub in the 80s.
On a phone, though.
I've had enough of this Rubber Dub Dub thing. So what I'm saying is, Andy,
here's the thing. I've got the ability to do that. I can digitise VHS tapes.
I don't want you getting involved in this. I don't want you.
What I'm going to say is, it's not going to work. But you could get your hands on that tape, and then I'd
destroy it if I did.
Digitise it, but something could go horribly wrong during the process.
That does appeal to me, because I would, if given half the chance, if I knew that tape was, I would fucking destroy it.
Yeah.
Right, because I have had it up to here with that Rubber Dub Dub thing. So what I'm saying is, right, you're like, oh, all these London kids always getting on telly, bastards. Well, careful what you wish for, mate, because it can actually ruin lives.
It kind of feels as though that scenario you've just talked about is heading towards me, thanks to the fact that I'm in the Ken Loach film that's due out later this year.
Yeah, look, you're there going, oh, all these Londoners getting all the opportunities. You're the one in a feature film by a world-famous director.
Decades for it, though. Well, wait decades.
I think it's probably better because you're emotionally more capable to cope with the attention that will bring you now. If it had happened to you too young, you'd have ended up like my brother-in-law, off his nut because it all happened too soon.
It's due out in the spring, I think. It'll be out on DVD maybe by Christmas, early next year. That means my parents will get a copy, and then they'll be putting it on all the time whenever people go around.
Fair enough, though.
So, I don't know.
It's a bigger deal, actually, than Rubber Dub Dub. So, I would accept that more because it feels like a bigger deal.
ITV, and the BBC as well, a lot of telly was regionalised a lot more when we were kids. So I could have been in the audience for Razzmatazz. Do you remember Razzmatazz?
Yeah, was that
made by Tyne Tees.
Oh, there you go.
And then, once you've been to Razzmatazz, you graduate to the Tube.
You might get spotted.
That was in Newcastle.
You might get spotted. Who's that freezed hair? Who's that young chappie? He seems to have a certain star quality.
Got charisma about him.
Alert me when he turns 16. We'll get him in the audience for the Tube. Not one of the big acts, one of the up-and-comers, just to try him out.
He's present in the moment, but he seems slightly disaffected. Almost as if he doesn't care. But he's also enjoying it.
It's just what I've been looking for.
He could be the new James Dean. We'll get him in for the Tube. I think they've got Cameo on in 3 weeks.
Mate.
See how he responds when Larry Blackman's parading around with that big red codpiece on. And we'll take it from there.
It's a good thing to test him out on, because a lot of youths will panic in a situation like that when Cameo are there. Let's see if he panics. Let's see how he operates under pressure. Razzmatazz is all very well, but let's see how he operates in the big leagues.
Larry Blackman's giant red cock is usually the litmus test, I find, with teenagers.
Mate, Razzmatazz, let alone the Tube, are both much more exciting than Rubber Dub Dub, so...
Yeah, I think they are,
I don't think you got much to be complaining about, to be honest. The good...
I didn't know how you'd get to Razzmatazz. There was a rumour that a couple of kids in my school had been to see it. I don't know how you would go about it, but the Tube, I was always slightly too young, and I regret that. I was 15 when the Tube ended. I think I'd be over 16. So that's something I've just got to live with.
Yeah.
But I had older friends who used to go along and watch it.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you just have to queue up?
I can't remember. I think you would. Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure what the procedure was, but I mean.
Well, we've got a lot of listeners in the North East. Maybe someone listening has went on the Tube, and they can get in touch and tell us a bit more about it. I'd love to know. Actually.
Yeah, I mean, the mate who I did know that used to go pretty much every week, he's dead now, so I can't ask him.
I'll tell you what else I'd like to know.
Back.
Sorry to skirt over the fact that your mate's dead. I'm sorry about that. But
it was a long time ago.
But I tell you what, I was watching this Rod Hull, This Is Your Life, that we're supposed to be talking about.
That's why we're here, isn't
and
it?
I really did, genuinely, I did think I would love to speak to someone who worked on this show, because I was trying to remember how many there were in a series. So I was thinking, actually, the amount of research and production that they would have had to have done, all in secret as well. It would be fucking... There was big productions, these shows, really big. There's a bit, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but Rod Hull, as we'll discover as we go deeper in the show, had a lot of connections in Australia. Yeah. And so there's a lot of content that's coming out of Australia in this show. And I was thinking, in those days, you couldn't just fucking first research a load of archive online. Nowadays, people looking for archive footage can find most of it on online libraries because it's been digitised, like my mother-in-law wants to do Rubber Dub Dub, right? And also, if you want to get a video message from someone, they can fucking film it on their phone, and a second later they've WhatsApped it to you all the way from Oz. No problem.
Piece of piss.
I was talking to my niece in Colombia yesterday, just like normal chat. Didn't even acknowledge she was in Colombia, just like having a chat about this, that and the other. Right?
Well, that's how we could do this one day when we're both living in,
when you're in Colombia and I'm in Australia, for example.
Yeah. We'd be able to carry on doing the episodes like this.
But back then, they were like having to probably... I was thinking they probably had to send people, humans and equipment to Australia to film a video message and then fly all the way back again. Like, the fucking time and expense just to make a little bit of, 1 minute bit of footage for a show. And they were making a ton of these simultaneously, weren't they? And they were tracking people down for all of the guests. They were tracking people down all over the world. Huge amounts of secret research, right? Flying
Australia
people from all over the world.
Australia seemed to be the big one, didn't it? They
in
always
this episode.
That was the golden ticket, getting someone to come from Australia. Because back then it would take a day to get to Australia.
Yeah. It still does, doesn't it? Or have they got
faster now?
It's a lot faster. I don't know. There's a plane they invented that now can go all the way there without stopping. I know that much. I don't know how long that takes. I'd feel a bit uncertain about getting on that plane.
Yeah, I'd want to stop somewhere.
Yeah.
Get my feet down on the ground.
Can we stop for a piss? Sir, there's actually a toilet on the plane. Yeah, I'm not using that. I don't trust it. Go on, I thought you
Where's
landed
it go?
I thought you landed in Japan or something on the way. Can I have a quick word with the pilot, please? Please return to your seat. But mate, I wouldn't mind stretching my legs. I'm bored shitless here.
Yeah, we should get back to the Rudhull thing, I reckon. Kind of why we're here.
Can I give you an overview of just watching quite a lot of it this morning?
Yeah.
There's a beautiful childlike quality in Rod Hull's eyes during this whole thing.
Yes.
I used to often watch it and think, was this really a surprise, or had they found out, had someone given them the tip off? And sometimes you think, oh, they fucking know. Not this guy. He didn't know it was happening, and you can see him processing it is quite. It's quite moving to watch because imagine that, Andy. Like, imagine suddenly some cunt rocks up to you, right, when you're just going about your business. Perhaps you're just out walking Oscar, right? Someone jumps out of a fucking bush,
Just
right,
as a big chicken,
and goes, right, you come to this fucking television studio, and guess what? Every cunt you've ever met, right, including ones you haven't seen for 40 years, they're all gonna fucking be there, and you've got to interact with them. Right, yeah. You'd be like, "Oh Jesus Christ, this is so much to cope with."
Jalapeño.
And you watch him going through it, and there's a real like sort of childlike twinkle in his eye. There's also at times a slight sadness, in my opinion, because I think there's sad memories that are being brought up, like, but Eamon Andrews is not verbalising them explicitly. Because they don't do any of that. They don't dig into the bad stuff. That came years later. Now, all TV's about digging into the bad stuff and the pain, isn't it? Whereas then it was just like...
Piers Morgan sat there talking about when you fucked up.
Exactly. Do you want to cry? Go on, do a fucking cry. Then that way I might win a BAFTA.
Go on, we'll get some fucking social media traction out of it. It'll go viral. Go on, cry. Cry more.
Come on, everyone. Chant with me. Cry. Did your mum probably not love you? Is that it?
Did you get touched up by your uncle? You want to cry now?
No, that must have been really horrid. Go on, have a little cry. There's no shame in it.
He will cry now. He won't cry.
Good. You'll probably feel better.
I will.
I will. It'll literally get me a fucking pay rise. I'm renegotiating my contract at the moment. Yeah, but
there's a bit right at the end. We don't want to go up. There's a bit right at the very end as the credits roll where he just looks completely stunned by what's happened.
Yeah, you would be. I mean, it's
incredible.
It was a feat of television journalism and production. I really mean that, actually, and I would love to read an interview with someone who was like, the producer on it or something, because you think, fucking hell. I'm pretty sure this wasn't like a 6-episode run. It used to just run and run, didn't it? Like,
always on.
It was just always on. So imagine how many people they had working on a show like that. Like, it must have been really difficult to put together.
It just wouldn't come back now because it would just be such a ball ache and they wouldn't do it.
No,
for that
and
reason.
I was thinking another reason why it wouldn't come back is that keeping the secret would be 1,000,000 times harder.
Yeah.
Because if you're approached about... They had to approach fucking, like... at least 100 people for each episode, right? Not just guests who are going to appear, but other people who are conduits to those people. A lot of people have to know about it. And in the age of social media and our ability to just fucking text and WhatsApp each other all the time, everyone's fucking desperate, falling over themselves to so they're in on it, right? So you get a call and suddenly you're off on Twitter going, I just received a call from, let's just say, I've been sworn to secrecy, but a very famous show that, how should I put it, documents the lives of famous individuals, right? And not to give too much away, there'll be a certain someone synonymous with a puppet bird who will be getting the surprise by a certain large book of a colour
on the 23rd
that
of
shall
April.
remain nameless. My lips are sealed. Then the emoji of that person with a zip across their mouth.
Yeah,
That'd be going on non-stop. You'd never be able to keep it secret, would you?
No, that wouldn't happen. Couldn't happen anymore. Different times.
Different times.
Different times.
If it did happen, who would you like to see presenting it? Because I know Aspel's
Me?
alive, but I think he's withdrawn from public life.
Well, me.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
It would be Paddy McGuinness?
It's always Paddy McGuinness or Bradley, what's his name?
Bradley Walsh.
Bradley Walsh.
Bradley Walsh would be a good call. I'm a big fan of Bradley
He
Walsh.
is very good.
Great.
But do you feel that the beauty of Eamon Andrews and Michael Aspel was they were good ringmasters, but they didn't put too much of themselves into it?
Absolutely.
If you see what I mean.
Absolutely.
Whereas there's no point getting Paddy McGuinness or Bradley Walsh if you're not going to invite their personality into the show. You know?
That's the way it is now.
Then it just becomes every week it's the Bradley Walsh show. I would get probably Michael Burke to do it.
I tell you, you get to do it. Charlie State.
Oh my God. Lovely stuff.
There you go.
I was chatting to a bloke last week who's been doing a bit of work for the BBC, right? Up at their Salford compound, right?
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh, when you're working up there, where'd you stay? You got a little place up there? You got a mate? What is it? What's the deal?" And he said, "I stay. There's a hotel right near the compound." He went, and when I'm doing a few days' work, I'll stay in this particular hotel. He went, and you wouldn't believe what this hotel's like. It's like Stella Street. He goes, because every person who is working for any part of the BBC up there in Salford are all staying in this same hotel because it's like so near, right? He goes, so you get up for breakfast, and he went through all the fucking names. He goes, you're there. It's not a fancy hotel either. He goes, you're there having your breakfast buffet, and as you go along, you look up, and there's like a ton of fucking presenters, actors, like really famous. The only people around the buffet are people who are really famous off of TV.
BBC.
He's telling me all the people, and I said, do you talk to them? You go, well, you know, everyone sits on separate tables, so it's quite weird. But occasionally, you might see someone who you semi know. You have a chat with them. Very occasionally, you know, if you're feeling confident, you might just go up to them and go, all right, oh yeah, no, I haven't met you before, but I just want to say, Ian. But the one person who, irrespective of who else is there at this breakfast buffet, right, how big the names are, the one person who changes the atmosphere of the room to one of deep reverence, gasping reverence whenever he enters, is, of course, Charlie State of the nation, state of play. Good old state of play. Right, when he comes in,
those curtains.
When he comes in, cutlery fucking drops onto China, mate.
Yeah.
Because
he must be coming in. What is he coming in for breakfast? Like after he's done the breakfast?
I don't know. Don't know what is. Don't ask me about Charlie State's movements. They're not my business. I don't know what his schedule is, but he's around and about there in the buffet area.
Yeah.
Imagine what he has.
Work in the room.
What do you? I mean, it's not a Premier Inn. I'll come out and say I don't want to give away that it's not a Premier Inn, but we're talking similar buffet vibes. What would you guess would be the items that he'd go for on the buffet?
I think breakfast.
Yeah.
I don't think he'd go full English. I think he'd go croissant and fruit and yogurt.
You're right. Croissant, bit of jam.
I wonder if it's the same hotel where I was drinking with Bob Mortimer in 2014 after they recorded House of Fools there.
I bet it is, but we'll discuss this afterwards, so I don't want to give too much away, but I wouldn't be surprised,
But yeah, they'll have been put. Very nice. Very nice.
But you drank, you didn't have any breakfast.
I didn't have any breakfast. I was in the travel lodge next to the Morrisons.
Listen, we're going to Manchester soon, right, to do a gig in April. And I'm now seriously thinking that even though it's probably not near our venue, I'm going to book into this hotel just to see who I can see.
Well, we've been offered accommodation by someone.
Oh, yeah, we have. We have.
Because he hasn't followed up on it as yet.
Oh, he's gone quiet now, hasn't he? Well, if he doesn't come through with the accommodation that we've been offered, if you want to know, listener, we don't want to be mysterious, but a complete stranger who claimed to be a war veteran from Afghanistan has invited us to stay in his one-bedroom bedsit, but he said it was free and he would boil us both an egg in the morning, and he said he'd give us a spare key, didn't mind how late we came in. So we've jumped on that opportunity. I mean, we haven't met him. I've seen pictures of him. He seems all right.
We haven't checked his bona fides.
His name's Terry, and he says he's done 3 tours of Afghanistan. In his last email, he said that he'd seen some terrible, horrific things and done some things that still haunt his every night. And the reason he told me that in the email, he said, I hope you don't mind, but sometimes I wake screaming in the night. Yeah. And I said, that's no problem. I've got a puppy at home, so I'm used to getting up and down in the night quite a lot.
Yeah.
You know,
and I'll be blind drunk as well, so I'll just sleep through.
Yeah, I said that on your behalf. I hope you don't mind. I said, don't worry about my partner. I said he'll be blind drunk, so there's no problem from his point of view.
He's probably, if you've got a bath, he'll sleep in there because he'll probably wet himself.
Yeah. It's more sanitary for him to sleep in the bath usually. And he said, if you want, you can sleep in with me in my bed. He went, because actually the only way that I can get back to sleep when I've woken up in one of my screaming fits is if someone cuddles me. Yeah. And I just replied, just to clarify before I answer that question, can I double confirm this is definitely free? You won't be charging us anything, not even expenses. And he went, no, 100% free. And I said, fine, okay, I will sleep in the bed with you.
Yeah.
I thought it seemed like a fair deal.
So we're looking forward to that.
Yeah, so hopefully that comes through. We haven't heard from him in a few days. If it doesn't, then I'm checking into the Media Compound Hotel.
And also any other offers similar to that for
any of the major conurbations we're visiting.
At that level we've described or above.
Yeah. He's offered us both
the bare minimum.
One boiled egg each for breakfast.
And a cuddle.
And all he wants in return is a cuddle. And you don't have to be a veteran, but I kind of feel comforted if you are.
Probably better if you are.
Yeah.
It feels as though we're doing some kind of civic duty.
Yeah, and we like to get out and about around the country and meet heroes.
It ties in with all that mental health stuff you're going about as well.
Yeah, I might take a tape recorder with me and do a bit of an interview with him in the night.
Yeah, put an episode out.
Yeah.
Lovely stuff. Rod Hull. So, I think last time we just talked about Rod Hull's kind of side story about where he'd lived and how he had that massive tax bill and he was made bankrupt in 1994, which is obviously sad. He lived in reduced circumstances towards the end of his life. But then we're back at the beginning of This Is Your Life, where they enter the theatre. The kids are all in the audience by this point. All of those kids that were there earlier, they're all in the audience. Of course, on the stage, there's the lines of seats either side where people come in and sit when they come through those double doors. Keith Chegwin and Sally James are there because they've been there at the introduction part. Yeah. Sally James is wearing a short black dress and calf-length gold boots, which are in no way distracting or triggering.
Detailed appraisal of her outfit there, I like
throughout
it. That's the sort of detail I'm here for.
Or triggering when they're repeatedly seen throughout the episode.
When the director goes,
fuck it, his dad's on now telling this shit story. Give me another close-up on James's calves. We're losing it. We're losing the audience. I can feel it. Cut back to James's tits.
Yeah.
They've got his old bugle teacher on. Fuck it. Get back to fucking James.
Get out the pout. So, they enter the theatre. There's the big golden arch over those sliding doors, the iconic sliding doors. Brilliant. Like I said last time, there's that gives me a slight sense of dread when I hear that music.
Oh, because you think, oh God, who's coming on now?
I don't know whether it's because of the concept of surprises or what.
I must admit, I can't imagine you responding well to being the subject of a This Is Your Life. I can't, especially if it was a surprise. If they called me and said, look, we're bringing back This Is Your Life, and we're going to make Andy Dawson one of our first subjects.
The first.
I'd be like, listen, have you thought this through? I don't think he's going to react well. I think he might not like it.
Yeah. He's going to go a bit Danny Blanchflower on you.
Yeah, he might react badly, especially if you turn up dressed like a chicken. That straight away will put his back up.
Yeah.
If Paddy McGuinness approaches him while he's out walking Oscar dressed as a chicken, anything could happen. It could be a disaster. Yeah.
He'll take a swing at him.
He could throw Oscar at him.
Yeah. He's probably got a code word for Oscar to attack, and he'll use that.
Sick.
He won't use it often, but he'll use it on McGuinness.
Sick, Oscar, sick.
McGuinness. So the kids there. There's a bit of introduction. We see a still black and white photograph of Emu attacking the Queen Mother's bouquet.
Yeah,
that's massive. That's the kind of thing that was never done.
I know, but fucking Rod Hull. That's the beauty of the man, isn't it?
You're spoken to with the royal family.
And the thing is, he'd done such a brilliant sort of deception on the whole of the UK public by convincing all of us, even the Queen Mother, that Emu was a sentient creature.
Yeah.
So he could, but really, he could do any of that shit, and he got away with it because no one ever thought that fucking weird bloke Rod Hull just fucking attacked the Queen Mother on television, right? People would go, "Oh, Emu,
naughty boy,"
and Emu didn't even look that real. Do you know what I mean? It looked like bad art and craft. But he was so good at lending it personality just through the power of his arm. Right?
Nobody says that.
No one said you can't attack the Queen, Mum. That's literally the worst person in the whole of the UK you could attack physically is the Queen, Mum.
You can't wrestle Michael Parkinson to the ground and grab his arse on Saturday night with your hand, albeit through the fucking face of an emu. It's just not. It's illegal.
Yeah, and he'd always go, "Oh, sorry, Emu's naughty." And everyone go, "Oh, yeah." And the people would actually feel sorry for Rod Hull. So think that poor Rod Hull.
To put up with him.
Everything he's had to go through with that emu of his, and it must embarrass him so much. He always seems so embarrassed. I feel for him. And no one ever saw and said, it's just fucking him. He's been going around just attacking people for fucking years.
Yeah. But he's very, like we said before, he's very subdued and very humbled by this whole thing because he's a different animal when he hasn't got Emu with him. He's a different character.
He really is, yeah.
He can't be
absolutely.
The outlandish, brash kind of... None of that's going. There's none of that vibe at all.
Yeah.
Maybe he thought it was going to be some kind of reckoning where he would end up getting arrested at the end of it. I don't know, for all the various crimes that he's done when they're all stacked up one after the other. I don't know. We'll leave it there. It's just it's all beginning. We're about to meet his wife and all his children and his dad. His dad's excellent.
His dad's superb.
And many pals from his past and all that kind of thing. So
he's really delighted to see some of them, isn't he?
Yeah, it's great. Great telly. Thank you very much and goodbye.
Goodbye.